24th of February, waking up with the news that the war has started, it was a shock. Till the last moment, I believe that all these military tanks and equipment was there just to scare us.
We knew before the war happened, with the Russian buildup on the border, that Lviv was going to be the place to which people fled.
Once the invasion started and people started fleeing west, it started getting very difficult because the traumatized people that were coming, those whose houses were bombed, were now in our homes. We're setting them up in the shelter. We didn't know how to respond to them. We had air raid sirens going off all the time.
Over 10 million Ukrainians right now are displaced from their homes. It's said that there are more Ukrainian children living outside of Ukraine right now than there are inside.
And so as we're trying to figure out how to serve people, we're trying to figure out how do we care for ourselves, how do we stay on mission, and then question what does the Lord want us to do in this time.
The week before the war started, we set up a crisis team that would be ready and organized to receive people in the best way that we possibly could.
People started to call because they were on the move. Explosions were happening, and the next 3 days was just kind of a nightmare.
What has happened in the past 3 months in this country, a country right now at war, and the response to that has been unbelievable. We've seen the church in Europe opening up their homes, opening up their churches to refugees. We've seen aid come in from Europe and from America, van loads and van loads of donated supplies, and we've seen a giving that's been unprecedented for us.
Through our PCA missionaries, we would connect to more and more churches in these European countries, and everyone was ready to host and help and give a refuge, just like the Lord gave us refuge in Him.
In the midst of trying to care for people, you want to help them. And the greatest answer that addresses their deepest need is what we have in the gospel, and we've seen that go forward.
What we're seeing right now in Ukraine is a mobilization of pastors and churches within the country and of churches and people outside of the country.
There's basically a new beginning about to happen. I do believe and think Ukrainians are going to be more open than they ever have to hearing the answers that God provides.
What's happened in Ukraine is a tragedy, but even through this tragedy, we've seen God at work. God at work in helping to place the millions of refugees and displaced people that have left. The response of the West in the aid and the finances that have been given, and we're praying that this momentum would continue. We're praying for more missionaries, more teams to come alongside and partner with our local Ukrainian denomination, that even through this tragedy, we would see God at work in planting new churches and developing new teams and opening up new cities.
And that the church, as a system, as a family, can step in and say that this is what Ukraine can be. Ukraine can be a people that finds its hope in Jesus Christ.